Hi all, it's Solicitor Ronald Onyango here, and thank you for joining my channel. Today I want to talk about uh, COS licenses, and particularly sponsorship by employers. I address this with regards to circumstance that has been occurring on many occasions. What happens when your employer loses their license? Your employer can lose a license in three circumstances. It can either be cancelled, suspended, or revoked. In all circumstances, this has a direct bearing on your sponsorship if you hold a COS license. The furthering consequences to that, in the event that a license is either cancelled or revoked or suspended, what happens depends on whether you are in the country or out of the country. In a scenario where you are in the country, you will be required to leave the employment and find an alternative employer. I switch your visa. In those circumstances, the Home Office may give you 60 days to either leave the country or switch employer. There are more dire consequences when this happens and you are out of the country. A scenario that I've come across sometimes, innocently employees do go on holiday abroad, unaware that perhaps the employer's license has been cancelled, revoked, or suspended. This only becomes evident to them at the port of entry when they're returning back to the UK. At the time when they're trying to get the clearance at the border, they're informed that their employer's license has been cancelled or was cancelled. In most cases, they may not be aware of this. However, it still impacts on them, and negatively. If that is the case, unfortunately, you will be denied entry back into the country. Hence, it is advisable to always check before you embark on traveling abroad if you hold a sponsorship, a COS license. In the event that you find that the employer is missing on the register of sponsors, then you should make further inquiries. Do some due diligence and checks to make sure before you step out that your employer has a valid and the sponsorship is still valid and current. Because if you do step out, you may not be able to get back into the country. In circumstances where this has happened, we'd recommend that you immediately contact a solicitor to guide you with entry back into the country, especially when embarking on an interview with immigration officers. That will formulate the basis under which you may be able to apply for administrative review. With the support of a solicitor, it may be helpful to probe further as to why this communication was not relayed to you. In most circumstances, you find that many employees are unaware of this, and they only came to realization at the point of entry. I would also wish to caution that whilst you're holding a COS license, it is important to make sure that you don't engage in the illegalities which perhaps an employer may be getting involved in, i.e., for instance, selling and buying of COS licenses, because if that transpires to be one of the causes of why the license is being cancelled, unfortunately, you will also be required to leave the country immediately. Furthermore, you may have some more difficulties at the end of your probation period when you come to renewing of your license, extension of your COS license to be precise, because you will have to demonstrate your activities in the UK within the period of probation. By the records must match. You must have done the contracted hours and not be in breach of any of your terms, because if you do, again, you will struggle to renew your license. That is for your duration to stay. I wish to caution you that you refrain and stick to the things that are in conformity with the terms and conditions of your COS. In the event that you are caught up in this, my caution is that you seek immediate advice and guidance so that you can better your position in the event that representations are being made on your behalf. And that I wish you a good stay and success in your stay in the UK. If you have any questions about these matters, please drop me an email. Thank you, Ronald Yango.